Hello everyone, welcome to another video on the history of English literature. So आज की क्लास में हम रोमांटिक राइटर्स को डिस्कस करेंगे वन बाय वन, जिसमें हमारे पास विलियम वर्ड्सवर्थ है, जॉन कीट्स है, लॉर्ड बायरन है, and Percy by Shelley, John Keats, etc. So all of them will be discussed one by one in detail. हम इनके keywords, terminologies और इनके contribution कोशिश करेंगे कि हम इनके works के all aspects को properly cover कर सके. So let's start talking about it. My name is Akif Nawaz and let's start talking about it. Okay. The first one is William Wordsworth. Now, William Wordsworth is a prominent romantic poet, right? And he is famous for the beauty of nature. Now, he is of the view that nature has the ability to cure our problems, right? So, he is the lover of nature. Now, the first famous work of his is Preface to Lyrical Ballads, a manifesto of romanticism emphasizing the use of common language and ordinary subject. So preface to lyrical ballads में उन्होंने common language के usage और ordinary subjects के बारे में बात करने पर focus किया है, ठीक है? Now, nature poetry. Wordsworth is known for celebrating nature as a spiritual and moral guide. So his focus was more on nature and the natural beauty. Now, important information about William Wordsworth. Considered as the father of English Romanticism, his poetry expresses a deep connection with nature and an emphasis on introspection and emotion. So he was all about natural beauty and nature, right? Now, his famous work is Lyrical Ballads, written in 1789 with his friend S.T. Coleridge, marked the beginning of the Romantic age by emphasizing on emotion, nature, ordinary life in poetry, right? So it marked the beginning of Romantic age, right? Now, Tenton Abbey, written in 1798, it reflects Wordsworth's deep emotional connection to nature and its ability to guide the soul. So this is what we find in Tenton Abbey, written in 1798. The third one is the Prelude, written in 1850. The Prelude is a philosophical poem exploring the growth of Wordsworth's own mind in relation to nature and imagination. So these are the most prominent works of William Wordsworth. Now, there are a lot of things, other things as well to know about, like he has written sonnets, odes, different kinds of things, right? So that is all about William Wordsworth. Now let's talk about another one, that is Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Now, the supernatural. Coleridge infuses poetry with mystical and supernatural elements. Supernatural elements means something that is extraordinary, okay? Like above the strength or power of humans. So another terminology that he's associated with is willing suspension of disbelief, a term he coined referring to the reader's acceptance of fantastical elements in literature. Now, willing suspension of disbelief, it means that जो चीज़ भी एक राइटर आपको लिखे दे रहा है, you need to suspend your will. So you cannot say that this cannot be possible, this is not possible, this is something extraordinary, supernatural. So जो disbelief का element आपका है, वो आपने ख़त्म करना है उधर, ठीक है? In order to understand the philosophy and the idea of the writer properly. So you have to willingly suspend the element of disbelief in order to understand that particular writer. Now, he is known for philosophical depth and dreamlike imagery, collaborated with Wordsworth on lyrical ballads and a foundation of work of romanticism, right? Now, the Rime of Ancient Mariner, written in 1798, a tale of sin and redemption with vivid supernatural elements that evoke awe and fear. Kubla Khan, dreamlike vision of a fantastical kingdom, rich imaginative imagery and mystery. And Biographia Literaria. So he wrote a lyrical ballad with William Wordsworth together, but here in Biographia Literaria he also attacked William Wordsworth and his idea as well. College Philosophical and Literary Critique, combining autobiography and discussion on poetry and imagination. So that was about Samuel Taylor Coleridge. The next one is Lord Byron. His Byronic hero is very important. A brooding, rebellious, and flawed character type seen in Childe Harold and Don Juan. So Byronic hero is a hero that is rebellious and is flawed, and both such kind of hero is found in Childe Harold and Don Juan. And romantic rebel, this is another thing we need to know. Byron's work often feature protagonists who defy societal norms and challenge authority. So his heroes are challenging the authority, defying societal norms, right? Now, important information, was both a poet and a cultural icon, famous for his personal charisma and controversial lifestyle. His heroes reflects his belief in personal freedom and disdain for convention. So he is not a kind of person who was into traditions, culture and stuff, and along with that he was like the practitioner and the follower of personal freedom, right? Now, Childe Harold's Pilgrimage, written in between 1812 to 1818, is a semi-autobiographical poem and a disillusioned young man wandering in search of meaning. So person who is looking for the meaning in life. So that is what we get in Childe Harold's Pilgrimage, right? Now the next one is Don Juan, is a satirical epic about the exploits of a charming but flawed hero challenging moral conventions. Now, romantic rebel and Byronic hero, that is evident in both of them as explained earlier. The next one is Manfred. It's a dramatic poem featuring a brooding protagonist grappling with guilt, existential angst and the supernatural. So Manfred is again one of his important works and we need to know things about it as well. Now the next one is Percy by Shelley. Now let's talk about it. Radical political idealism. So that is the thing we need to know. Works advocate for societal and political reform including freedom and revolution. So when we are studying about Percy by Shelley, so we get to know that he is more into radical political idealism, और उनके काम में हमें सोशल और पॉलिटिकल रिफॉर्म्स जिसमें फ्रीडम और रेवोल्यूशन जो है वो सबसे ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट शो होते हैं हमारे पास. एंड द नेक्स्ट थिंग वी नीड टू नो इज़ the sublime. Now what do you mean by sublime? Explored nature's grandeur as both beautiful and terrifying, reflecting human struggle and aspiration. So उन्होंने नेचर को एक्सप्लेन किया है उसके ग्रैंडियर और साथ ही साथ उसकी ब्यूटिफिकेशन और जो टेरिफाइंग एलिमेंट्स है उस पर उसने नज़रसानी की है. सो ब्यूटिफिकेशन ऑफ नेचर along with the terrifying elements in nature, his poetry was all about it. Was a radical thinker, okay, using poetry to express revolutionary ideas. So he was, Percy Bysshe Shelley was basically a revolutionary poet. He was into political stuff, right? Like political reforms, personal freedoms and revolutions, ideas about liberty, equality, power of the human spirit. His work was largely unrecognized during his lifetime but gained a significant influence after his death. Now let's talk about his works. Now Ode to West Wind is a passionate and invocation of the wind as a symbol of change and revolutionary spirit. Now if you are into it, just give it a read, and it's a very famous, very important work of Percy Bysshe Shelley, right? Prometheus Unbound, written in 1820, is lyrical drama about human liberation and defiance against oppressive forces. As we discussed earlier that he was a revolutionary, a political thinker. So he was against oppressive forces, and in Prometheus Unbound, it's a lyrical drama in which he explained all these things. Now the next one is The Mosque of Anarchy. Now The Mosque of Anarchy is a lyrical political poem advocating for peaceful resistance against tyranny and injustice. So his life was revolving around politics, revolution and social reformation, right? The last one is John Keats. Now, negative capability is the most important thing of all to know about him. Keats' idea that great writers can remain in uncertainty without needing to resolve contradictions. Now, negative capability is a terminology we need to understand. Keats' idea that great writers can remain in uncertainty without needing to resolve contradictions means that if there are contradictory ideas, right, then great writers can remain in uncertainty without needing to resolve contradiction. It means that if you are uncertain or there are two contradictory ideas, so great writers can survive without resolving these contradictions. So it's not of everything like to resolve the problems. Rather, you need to know how to survive when there are contradictions, right? Now, beauty and morality, a recurring theme in Keats' poetry where he explored the transient nature of life and art, like immortality of art and nature. Now, important information is sensuous imagery and deep contemplation of beauty, art, and death. And died young, but his work has a lasting influence on English literature. Now, Ode to a Nightingale, his prominent work, contrast between fleeting nature of human life and eternal beauty. Ode on Aggression, written in 1819, reflects on the tension between prominence of art and the transience of human existence. And To Autumn. The To Autumn is a richly sensuous meditation on beauty and fulfillment of nature's cycle. Now that is all from my side about all these romantic poets. So what you need to know is these key terminologies along with their works and the year of publications. If you're preparing for any of the tests, competitive examination, whether it be of CSS or competitive like KPPAC, FPAC, etc. and etc. So this is something you need to understand and you need to know in order to attempt well. So good luck, and that's all from my side. See you in the next one. Allah Hafiz.